What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be, again, previewing the West Ham game in the Premier League. Before we crack on with this video, though, and there's been a lot that's happened in the time since we played Tottenham Hotspur. Before I crack on with this video, though, make sure, like always, if you're enjoying the content, then make sure you help support my channel by subscribing, pressing that red button, pressing the bell, and putting your push notifications on. You can find my social media links, Twitter and Instagram, in the description below and popping up on screen. If you want to go and follow me on there, that would be much appreciated. You can also find my email in the description below if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget also, leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, and most importantly, let me know your thoughts in the comments below with your score and team prediction of this game. So we're here to do the preview again, but because there's lots has happened since well, I last did that preview and the game was called off, there's a lot to talk about and things have changed, so that's why I'm doing the video again. So it's a 7:30 PM kickoff time, this time live on Sky Sports, still Etihad Stadium, 19th of February. Now it's live on TV because it's not clashing at the same, or it's not kicking off, should I say, at the same time as what the Champions League matches are. I imagine City and the Premier League will have to have got permission for this to happen. It seems that they haven't, the fixture is happening, but City wanted this fixture to happen so they can have an extra 90 minutes under their belt for that game, obviously, coming up against Real Madrid. This is the rearranged West Ham game, which was postponed from last Sunday after Storm Kira saw that the game didn't go ahead due to heavy winds, heavy rain, and lots of fans struggling to get in, with lots of flooding going on in and around the Manchester area. Not just Manchester, but the whole country, and fans were struggling to get there, including the away fans. So I felt like it was the correct decision for the game to be postponed. Now, it's nice to have football back, really, isn't it? Like I said, lots has happened recently which will overshadow this game. It's going to overshadow Manchester City's season, and it does have the potential also to overshadow next season and the season after if the Champions League ban is upheld after City's appeal going to CAS. But it's just like Pep Guardiola said, this is a time, it's a testing time for us, but it's a time to test our togetherness. And so it sounds like Pep Guardiola, for the meantime, is going absolutely nowhere. And I think that it would be a great boost to the club, to the fans and to everyone, to have just that period of stability. I feel like we all want a Pep Guardiola contract. There would be nothing bigger than a boost than Pep Guardiola committing to a couple more years at Manchester City to show actually it's not just words that he's saying, but he does mean it, and he wants to stay here and he wants to oversee everything that's happened at Manchester City, be able to bring in the players and get us back to being where Pep Guardiola took us, which was right to the very top, breaking records and being that team that was pushing all the boundaries for records. Because of course, like everything, you get to the top, ends up falling down just a little bit. So Pep said to try and get us back to that top, and I feel like with the Champions League ban, it might just take us just that extra couple of seasons, and I would like Pep Guardiola to get us back there because I think he's a tremendous manager and I want him to stay at Manchester City. So if he's committed to Manchester City, I think that'd be the much needed boost that we'd all need. Now, for this game though, Premier League really doesn't matter. Manchester City now aren't going to finish first. We already know this. We can't be relegated unless we're going to be chucked out of the league. If we get chucked out of the league, we're going on a League 2 tour. And I guarantee you right now, if we're getting chucked out of the leagues and we're in League 2, I'll still be here to do my match previews, my match analysis, and also some match vlogs, I think it would be. Although I'm sure lots of fans would hate it, I think it'd be a change. It'd be something different. I'd be looking forward to playing Accrington Stanley and other clubs like that, Mansfield, etc. I think it'd be entertaining, to say the least, if I'm completely honest. And Pep said if we're relegated to League 2, he'll stay. So I think there'd be a lot of talking points, if I'm completely honest. That's just me trying to make myself feel better for a horrendous situation. But at this moment in time, we don't know. We're in limbo. We don't know too much about what is happening here, really. And so what I'm saying is league finishes doesn't really matter. But the mentality that I have, and I'm hoping the coaching staff and the players, I'm certain they'll have the same mentality, is they want to be the best that they can be. So they'll be pushing to try and finish as high as possible. And of course, second place open for grabs for us, and looking back over the last few seasons, to finish first and second actually is pretty brilliant for the club. And so that's what I'd be looking for. I feel like with everything that's happened, the club's going to have a point to prove. I'm hoping the players are going to have a point to prove, and we can go out and put in a really good performance, because let's not forget that City, over the last couple of games against Manchester United and against Tottenham Hotspur, we've drawn a blank, we've created lots of opportunities, we haven't been clinical, and we got beat twice. We nearly got put out of the Carabao Cup if it weren't for Manchester United not really having a go until too late. but they still beat us. And for Tottenham Hotspur creating a couple of good opportunities and scoring both of them opportunities, it's ended up being not a brilliant end to January and going into February. So like I said, I'm hoping now we've gotten to the point where we start to turn things around and we start looking up. It's good practice, this game. 90 more minutes for the Real Madrid game, trying to get our mojo back, scoring goals, making things happen, and send some statements out to Leicester City on Saturday. And so it's a statement out for Real Madrid for next week, of course, too. But it's time to try and get our focus back into football, because I don't feel like playing one game before a huge Champions League game when you've had 3 weeks off is ideal preparation. I feel like this winter break that's been introduced should be introduced a lot earlier than into February, because it does just you find it difficult. It's not great preparation going into the difficult European fixtures for the clubs that are in Europe, and so I feel like that possibly does need to change. But it is nice to have an extra 90 minutes for us to be able to play under our belts, and obviously players are playing for their positions to go in and try and get a start in that Real Madrid game. This game's also a good chance for us to get 3 more points, give us a little bit of daylight between us and Leicester in 3rd place. We play Leicester away. That's a very big game. That's great practice, by the way, for that Real Madrid away game. And if we can win this game against West Ham and that game against Leicester, actually, then we've got clear daylight between us and Leicester for 2nd place. We can start to move our attentions towards Europe, towards the FA Cup, and of course that Carabao Cup final coming up, and we don't really have to think about the Premier League again until March, basically. So if we can win these couple of games, couple of good performances, I'd be absolutely delighted. Of course, with our team selection, we are going to be thinking more about that Real Madrid game. I will mention a couple of bits with the players. I suspect that a couple of players that are returning from the injury, so Leroy Sane, Aymeric Laporte and Raheem Sterling, obviously Sane and Laporte have had long-term injuries. We're going to be looking for them to get some minutes, if that means coming off the bench a couple of times, then coming off the bench a couple of times, just so they're in contention for the games against Real Madrid. Sane and Laporte are training, and so I suspect one of them will probably start in this game, the other may feature from the bench, then vice versa against Leicester, just so they've got some minutes under their belts, and then they can go in against Real Madrid. I mean, if worst comes to the worst, they can just sit on the bench and bring them on if we need to bring them on. But I feel like a bigger boost forward would be to have Aymeric Laporte fit and ready to go. So I imagine, I'm not too sure, he might come on off the bench in this game, or he might start and then give him a rest against Leicester, then start against Madrid. Something might happen, so I'd like to know your thoughts of that in the comments below. John Stones, I'm not too sure about him. He seems to be getting there, but I'm not sure if he's in contention for this game or not. I imagine Stones is probably going to be used as a part player from now until the end of the season. Doesn't seem to be high on the agenda at Manchester City. I think he's a quality player, just lacking a lot of confidence, and it's really testing time this for Manchester City. We're needing players to have their heads in the game, not having passengers, and John Stones a little bit this season has been that for Manchester City, and so he may get some cup game starts, and he needs to start proving himself from there and working from there. And it's all about, when you get given the chance, taking your opportunity. Alexander Zinchenko is suspended. It seems like an age ago since he received them 2 yellow cards against Tottenham, but he's not had his suspension yet, so he will be suspended for this game. Raheem Sterling, I'm not too sure. He might be on the bench, he might be given the game off. He's still doing his little recovery from his injury, but I suspect he is there or thereabouts, and I would be very surprised if he isn't there in the squad, at least for that Real Madrid game next week. Now for West Ham, pretty much the same as the last preview, really. I'm expecting to see Noble in the middle. I'm expecting to see Sebastien Haller up top. Physical striker, can cause problems with balls over the top, of course. Threats from set pieces, long throws, hold-ups, things like that. So I imagine West Ham won't be creating too many opportunities, but when they do, they'll need to put them in the back of the net to be clinical, to get something from this game. Something Man United's done in the last games against us. It's something that Tottenham's done against us too in the very last game. And so, yeah, David Moyes will be looking to do that again, of course, with Pellegrini no longer being here. I do like Pellegrini, so makes me, I don't know how I feel about that, but David Moyes will look to sit deeper, absorb and hurt Manchester City by creating a couple of opportunities, which is exactly what Spurs and Man United did. So City need to learn their lesson. Of course, West Ham don't have the quality of Tottenham or Manchester United, but we still need to be careful, because if City's heads aren't in the game, it will soon tell, and I can guarantee that we will get stung in this game. It's a Premier League game, it's a competitive game. They've got more than enough quality here to hurt Manchester City, so we need our heads in the game and putting in a good performance. It's a good test of wills this for Manchester City. My score prediction, I'm going to go for 3-0 Manchester City. I reckon we'll put out a very strong team for this game. If Aguero starts, I'm tipping him to get a hat-trick. If Aguero starts in this game, I'd go for him to score any time, and go for, like I said, if you're feeling a bit fancy and a punt on any money, Aguero, if he starts in this game, hat-trick. I will say one thing though, if you're going to put any bets on, I'd probably wait until the team is announced so you can assess it from there, because Man City are a little bit unpredictable when it comes to their team selection. And the last thing you want to do is put on a tenner for Sergio Aguero to score a hat-trick and he's on the bench, because then you've wasted a tenner. So just hold back until the team is announced about an hour before kickoff. For my team selection, which I'm going to pop up now, I'm going for the return of the 4-3-2-1 formation, because I think Leroy Sane is going to start, and that's how I see Leroy Sane fitting into this game, and I see that suiting him. So I've gone for Ederson in goal, Walker right back, Mendy left back, Fernandinho and Otamendi starting at centre back. I think that Laporte will be given a rest for this game and might come on from the substitute bench in the second half. In particular, if Leroy Sane needs to come off, then they might change the formation and go with the 3 at the back that they had a tendency to do throughout some games in January. I've gone for Rodri to start at defensive midfield, De Bruyne and Phil Foden. I'm hoping Ilkay Gundogan. I like Ilkay Gundogan. I just don't feel he suits a formation when we've got other defensive players starting. If City want to go on the offensive, then I wouldn't have a problem with Ilkay Gundogan starting, but Rodri would have to drop out, not starting both of them. I don't feel like that suits Manchester City all that much, even if that means Rodri playing in centre back. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's just a bit of a clash there, and I just don't think it works in my opinion. And so I've gone for Rodri, De Bruyne and Phil Foden to start in this game. I was torn between Bernardo Silva, David Silva. I feel like Bernardo Silva can have a rest. Start against Leicester, go from there, because he'll more than likely be starting against Real Madrid. So I've gone for Phil Foden in this game, because David Silva, I'm not too sure on David Silva. I just feel like it's a time where David Silva's not going to be here next season. It's an ideal opportunity here for getting younger players to be getting more minutes. That includes players like Phil Foden, that includes players like Eric Garcia, even Harwood-Bellis if we're going to be using them more. So yeah, that's something I'd like to see. So I've gone for Foden to start, gone for Leroy Sane to start on the left, Riyad Mahrez to start on the right. They can switch, of course, if they need to. Both left-footed players, and I've gone for Aguero up top. So I'd love to know your thoughts of that in the comments below with your score and team prediction for this game. Like I said, subscribe if you're new around here. If you're enjoying the content, then make sure you help support my channel. Aim for 6,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. And don't forget also, you can check out my social media links, which you can find in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My email also in the description too, if you want to go and hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget also, leave your thoughts in the comments below with your score and team prediction for this game. Like, comment, share and subscribe. And I'll see you all again for the next video. So it's been JSGC. It's nice to have football back. Peace. Ciao for now.